When a man orders a cake for his wife or girlfriend, I feel like it can only go one of two ways. One way is that he says, I don't know, she likes pink, do whatever, or something along those lines. The other way, which I am thankful to see much more often, is when he gives me her whole life story, all of her careers, all of her hobbies and interests, every single positive personality trait. Like, I get a biography on this person, which is always very touching and very sweet, but not always the best way to approach designing a cake. I mean, sometimes I'm thankful for all the different things to work with, but other times it can definitely be overwhelming, and I see the client to pick something because there are too many options. Like, I think if my husband were to order a cake for me from another baker, he would say like, oh, she loves ultimate frisbee and Milwaukee and espresso martinis. She's really into thrifting and vintage furniture, which is all great and true, but I would not necessarily want a cake with any of those things depicted on it. I would probably just want something like colorful and trendy for my Pinterest board. But I know that not everyone has a Pinterest board full of cake designs. That is kind of just a me thing. So I know these men probably don't expect me to incorporate every single thing they mentioned onto this cake design. Just they want to give me like the most information possible, which, like, okay, we can work with that. I do really appreciate that this particular client does mention some colors that his wife likes, and he included some specific greenery that they included in their wedding invitations that she really liked. And he told me to kind of lean into the muted blues and greens and lighter colors. A couple other things that helped are that she loves the vintage heart cakes. I believe they do watch my TikTok, so if you're watching, hello! I hope you had a great birthday. He listed like a zillion things that she likes or is interested in, but I really picked up on books. She's a big reader and she likes flowers. So my idea was to do those light colors he was talking about with a really ornate, intricate vintage heart cake, and then to add on flowers and little books made out of fondant on top of the cake as little accents, just to give it a little bit more of a personal touch than your average heart cake. I tried to get a little extra fancy with these extra drop lines at the top that you just saw me do, and I tried to do a different little unique embellishment under the swags. You can see I ended up scraping those off. I actually did not like how they looked at all. Here you can see I ended up just fully redoing them. I like this new version much better. When it came time to make the books, I felt like I had to make them a certain size, because if I made them too small, you wouldn't even be able to tell what they are. So I went for quality over quantity. I made 2 books, and one was open and one was closed. Thankfully, I did have green fondant left over from another project that was almost the same shade as the green cake. So I think that was good. I like the cohesive look. For the record, you really should not use a knife on a silpat. Boo, shame on me. It's a really dull knife, okay? You have to know the rules to break the rule. I got these little details all done to add to the cake. I do wish I had more time, so they had more time to harden before adding them on the cake, but unfortunately I did not. I think they still held up okay. I went back and forth a lot on whether I wanted to incorporate more colors with either the books or with the flowers, but ultimately I just decided to keep it simple, keep it classic. I feel like because the cake style is much more ornate and classic, that the simple colors just make sense, and I think any more would have been kind of obnoxious. And don't worry, I didn't forget to add some writing in that book. It can be whatever you want it to be. Here's the final product. I can think of a lot of my friends that would also really like this cake who are really into reading, so I think it just turned out so fun. This client was the sweetest. Let me know what you think. Bye! Whenever I post an extra tall cake, people always ask me, how do you even cut that? So I pulled this out of the vault to show you. This was my grandpa's 87th birthday cake, and his favorite beer was Special Export. So I made this like defying gravity cake. I'll show you at the end. My grandpa was an accountant who worked with a lot of small businesses, and that was my biggest roadblock to taking with Chick full-time. I could not afford to hire an accountant the first few years, so he offered to help me, and that finally gave me the freedom to quit my job. He had an incredible amount of patience. I was 20 and clueless, and he took it all in stride. We had many tax meetings over donuts at the kitchen table, and I will always be so thankful for that time we had together these last few years. He just recently passed away, which has been really hard, obviously, for my family, but he is a huge part of this business, and he always will be. I've been so proud that he's been able to watch my business grow, and he's definitely seen at least a few of my videos over the years. I just wanted to give a little tribute on this page. He really made this business happen for real, and I will always be so thankful for that.